It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And we have with us today Miss Jenny Lee, the international seer and remote viewer, and she has some very interesting things to share with us for today. So let me bring her on. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
I can be, I guess. Well, I could be better if we were in the new world already, but we're not there yet.
Right. In this world. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like,
So in this world, you got somebody in chat already. How do you like that? Oh, here's somebody saying, thank you for having Jenny on. So
that's cool. Yeah,
I love to have Jenny on.
It is crazy. And it's just the energy, the people are just going bonkers. And what is reality and what is not? This is real and this is not. What's real? I mean, they can't tell the difference. They get so offended when you don't agree with them. But you know what I'm saying? It's just some of us has to stay true on the path of consistency and seeing everything revealed in the way it needs to be revealed, and not just get stuck in the propaganda. And that's what's happening in the Holy Land right now, you know, and that's the problem. Everybody's getting sucked into it, just like they did with the cell phone crap.
You mean the Middle East war stuff going on?
Yeah. And the thing is, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? They just, if you guys notice, I mean, it was cell phone, your cell phone's going to blow up, and now it goes back to the Holy Land. I mean, it keeps shifting and keeps moving, and then all this crowd of people keep shifting with it and getting sucked into it. Yes. And I'm just like, when are you guys going to stop? When are you going to stop?
When they want you to look over here, you should look over there.
Right, exactly. Or you look above or you look below. Never look exactly where they want you to look. You know what's funny? I saw something on the news, and knowing how blood works, you know, when someone gets shot or someone, how blood ages, and it looked like red paint. And I go, as soon, and what happens is it soaks into the material, and then it changes color right away. It gets dark within not that long. You know, within 12 hours, it's going to be a very dark red. And I'm just like, are we all buying into some of this stuff? Because some of it is just such a propaganda situation, and they're not looking at the details.
There's I was going to say CGI, you know, there's a lot of that going on. There's crisis actors.
Right.
There's things that are staged that we think are real because the media makes it look like it's real, but it's really not real. And it is confusing to people. It really is. And a lot of our people, I don't think they're aware of the visual technology they have that they can use to make things appear totally different than what's really going on.
Right. And that's the whole issue there, is that that's what happens a lot. But we just, you know, I guess the details in the background, if you pay attention to the background, but everybody is just kind of like, no, they said it, let's believe it. You know, and it's just like, no wonder it's so easy to program people.
Exactly. Well, they got that. If you're watching the TV and you're not on a higher vibration, they have that mind control technology on there that what they're showing on TV is the narrative that they want you to believe.
Right.
And somehow, I don't know how that technology will mind control. I've seen the
Right.
pets.
Right. So, and often when I come on with you, I mean, I know you always have questions that you kind of always ask me, or sometimes you send it on Facebook, but, I'm sure you have some. But I was wondering to start with you and see if you had some questions before we went into everybody else's.
Well, we haven't got any questions yet in the chat, so I might encourage people, if you do have questions of Jenny, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will put them up there. I guess what I'm wondering is,
go ahead,
what we will see going on here in the near future, as far as, I don't know if you see those kinds of things, as far as what's happening with the government, what's happening with, I remember you talked about moving to councils. It's still moving?
Yeah, I think that was going to happen. And if you pay attention on the outer skirts of this new development, new technology, all that stuff has to be advanced before that happens. And I believe you take the Republicans now, and you put them in a fake situation like they're in charge. And there's some other force that's coming in, and they're just looking like they're going to be in charge. That's what I feel that's happening. That's going to happen. Yeah. And all, and people like, no, I'm like, just pay attention to some different, I'd say, looking at different laws and how they're doing it more of a futuristic situation, how things are advancing, how it seems to be pretty fast, pretty accurate. So that's the whole thing, like the whole quantum system. So
I heard. Go ahead. I heard that Washington, D.C. Congress, most of the people in Congress, with the exception of a handful, are either under house arrest in Gitmo or no longer with us for
right,
because of what they've done.
Right.
So
I believe that, and I believe that happened
a while ago.
Yes. I think a lot of things happened a while ago.
Yeah.
Joe is presenting now that it's important.
And they're throwing a little bit out here and a little bit out there in order to keep people from totally panicking. I don't know what to do to wake people up, because they're the ones that put them to sleep in the first place with the technology. But they're not the ones, the bad guys were, but it's really hard. It's like I was talking about this with a friend just today, as a matter of fact, that everybody seems to be under a spell. Like I know Sasha Stone calls it a dream spell, and I think they are. And then we talk about the red pill and the blue pill, and we were saying, I don't think we want either one. We don't want the just the red pill or just the blue pill. No. You need to put the two pills together, and we got a purple pill, and then you just got one, and you don't, and you're not divided.
How about just a rainbow pill that means everything is united? How's that?
That works. That works too. Just yeah. That's what I was getting at, is the going from the two pills to the one, in order to stop with the division, because that's what they have done so effectively against humanity so many times. They divide us all the time, and we need to stand together instead of apart. And when we do, here's a question. That's how they brainwash people to, they lied. They did. It was not informed consent at all.
Right.
We've got to be careful what we say about that, but it's not informed consent. And it's continuing to this day. I happen to know, because I have a friend in Phoenix, that they're still doling that out. Right. I'm going, oh my God, when's this going to stop? Who's going to stand up and say, no more? But
right.
Anyway. Okay.
Yeah, it is ridiculous of how we just go into this process and how things are developed right now. And that's the thing. It just seems like every situation you see on TV, you're still not seeing a lot of people back up from that. There's still, you got similar people watching the same stuff and believing the same stuff. And you're just like, no, stop believing this. And I had a guest on. I had Sonia on yesterday. And I really believe on my show. And that is someone who's lived there that I feel really knows what she's talking about. And these people that say, well, I have a friend there or whatever. I'm like, well, I think it's different when you've actually lived there and you know what's really going on. So, it's just they want to believe what their friends believe. And then they don't want to go against the narrative. And I said we got to stick to what we believe is true and not what is presented or shoved in our face.
People really need to use their divine discernment. If they would find their strength in their heart strength inside of them, rather than believing the narrative outside of them, it would help a lot. But we've been taught to go outside of ourselves through religion, through all the stuff that we've been exposed to. Somebody is asking, some are saying the stock market will crash on Monday, October 30th. What does Jenny feel, please? That's from Karai.
Close to that time, but I'm not, I don't feel with their ups and downs with me, and I don't go by dates. I go by a rhythm and a feeling. So I would tell you it's close, but I don't do dates because I don't feel that date time is important, because you cannot, as you know, in this world, everybody's gave you 10,000 dates, and guess what? Nothing has happened, because it has to do with the checklist that is done, what we need to get done, that things are implemented the way they need to be. And it's not something like an app on the phone. So I'm just saying, I'm analyze this in a way of feeling it. And it feels very close. And like I said, it's going to happen overnight. And I keep thinking, the Spirit's telling me, when that happens, you're just going to see that debt clog disappear.
That's the feeling I get as well. It's just going to be gone. All the debt's gone.
Yeah, it's just gone. And people are like, where to go? What happened?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay my mortgage anymore.
I don't know what people will do. They'll go to dance in the street over that stuff. And then Social Security is supposed to go up. And, and I think that is one of the biggest gifts you can give the universe, citizens of this world, to take care of your elders and your disability people. So,
and they haven't been doing that at all. I know somebody who's on a disability and worked for a while as a dishwasher, and was on the disability and was just working part-time, but then found out that had to pay back a whole bunch of money, which is totally insane because they took it from your trust in the first place anyway. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. They'll have to pay them back. That's what I said.
I hope they do, because that's just unfair.
It's keeping people down is what it is. It's the same way that the welfare system works, because they will not let you get ahead, because as soon as you get ahead, they start feeling like you could get ahead. And I don't mean that much by ahead. I just mean being able to pay for everything and have a life.
Right. They don't want that.
They don't want that. No.
Live in misery.
Suffer and be miserable, because that's the loose they feed off of us.
Yeah.
They get off on it. And that's, people don't understand that either. I don't know if you have any way to explain that, but
well, I mean, just the fact, because if you only give, it's like giving enough to make you starve, and I mean literally spiritually, physically, mentally starve enough that you're just exhausted and tired and wore out and just need enough. So they just tap into that just a little bit and never let you pass that line. It's like, nope, you can stay in that starvation point and maybe just get a little satisfaction, but we're not going to let you go further than that. That's the problem.
Well, you had some interesting information about the Holy Land, and I think people like to know about that. And what's going on over there is largely a setup. That land was leased by Israel, and the Balfour Declaration is no more. I mean, it ends at the end of October, and so that's why they're starting all this fighting. Another thing I heard is there's some kind of policy among the bankers, and they think they're going to get away with it, but they're not. That if they have wars going on, I think that they had like 22 or something like that around the world, different conflicts. I don't know if don't quote me on that figure, but nonetheless, what it is telling us is that they're never going to do the currency reevaluation. There's war going on, and if there isn't, they won't have one.
It don't matter. I'm telling you, their ships are better than ours. Okay, let me tell you. So, like they keep telling you, and they keep saying it over, nothing can stop what's going to happen.
What is coming?
So they can wish, because you know why they're so desperate at this point? Because after this, it's over for them. It's over for them. It's over for the dark. It's over for the negative. It's over. Their power is over. Once you give humanity what they need to survive, I'm telling people everybody's gonna they're gonna be quiet, because they're saying, well, I'm seeing money in my account and I want this to keep coming, so I don't think I want to voice too much because I don't want this taken away. You want to get people's attention right away, fill their accounts with money. I'm just telling you, you're gonna hear them go, don't say anything. And like I told you, I think I said it on this show too. If people have such a problem with getting money and saying, well, this is the red pill, and I don't want nothing to do with the red pill, and I don't want this money. Well, return to sender. Return to sender. By all means, But I guarantee you, every one of those Democrats will never return that money if they're getting free money, because you know how they like it. So, like I said, you're going to see a crowd that's going to start shifting and going in another direction. So it's not one by one that they're going to start shifting. It's going to be like a wave turning, and they're all going to shift and they're going to follow each other. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. So it's a distraction, and Spirit says this was always going to be the last war, the last fight, everything. And I said that on my YouTube. Been saying it for a while.
Nothing would make me happy for all war to end and have peace and harmony on this earth.
Right, exactly. But like I said, when that happens, and that brings everything to a healing light, a high vibration of that, and the negative doesn't win that way.
I got a question for you.
They die. Their existence. And the thing is I think I said this many times that Spirit said, is that their stories and how this happened is to obliterate their existence off this plane is the most biggest insult to them. Yeah.
Aww. Poor babies. Huh? I feel so sorry for them, don't you? No, no, I'm being facetious, obviously. I got a question for you. Now, we know that there are people who have attachments, that some people that even have some degree of possession, and these are negative entities. Now, right. when this happens, they will be removed from everyone. Is that correct?
Well,
I shouldn't say everyone, but
it's not that easy, because you look at a percentage of, like, I go back to these contracts. Like, let's go to Hollywood, in that they made a deal, right? And I think I told you I had a dream about this, but they were showing me what would happen to those souls that signed that contract, because they never thought about them losing. So,
right.
So they would have to go back to those souls that worked for the dark, worked with the dark. That whole process of that, what they gave you was on the means of them winning. What's going to happen with that is, I think it has to do with what I was seeing in the cities, just things dismantling, humans, just not even humans, but these situations, and they just fall to the ground and they don't get back up. So I think I always go back.
Androids, clones, and similar beings, and maybe even the avatars of the beings that did sell their soul. But what I was referring to, I wasn't really referring to the ones that have actually sold their soul, so to speak, with assigning it off to the devil. I'm referring to other people, you more of your average type people that might have those issues, like attachments, or they say we all do. We all have them.
So that means, with those, remember I said something about the light coming in. When the light comes in, the negative cannot breathe in the light. Okay. So those are like, those would be like self-combust. Those energies would dismantle, disintegrate, self-combust. So it's some of them you might seem like they're coming out of a coma, and you're just like, they're like, what's up? So it depends on, because demonic energy puts an investment into the soul and how much time they invested. But they told me that nothing can withstand that light. So they don't have a choice. They're going to dissolve, some of them.
Cool. Now, when you say the light, are we referring to the flash? No. Okay. Just the light in general.
The light as in
is that a misnomer too? Is that this flash is not real?
I don't believe in flash. And they've never showed me, and they just keep telling me that flash thing is the fog of the good energy that's coming to Earth, and that the dark cannot survive in this light. Vibration, frequency, tones, just.
I can honestly see more people are beginning to see the light, shall we say?
Right.
Speaking of light, just by things that are saying, it does appear that more people are actually taking some action. Like I've seen action taken against the school boards. I've seen action taken against different.
Well, people are growing balls.
Politicians.
They're growing balls again. They're not carrying their balls in their wife's purse anymore. It's like, saying.
Yes, we need more men to step forward, don't we? Yeah. A lot of the women already have been.
Yes, they do.
Not that there aren't men.
They're pretty. They're titanium too.
Yeah.
But they're pretty strong. But I think women have always been strong in that way. But yeah, I mean that. I can't wait till this new feminine energy reverses and men kind of again grow their balls back, and then we get into a process where it's the spirit of standing up. You see the spirit suppressed of not standing up, not standing in the trueness. Okay, so you want that spirit back that is like, no, we're going to tell the truth. We're not going to just do what you need us to do and say what you need us to say, and I think that part of that light situation is bringing that spirit back of that trueness. Because, I mean, you can do half of what you're seeing these days 50 years ago, because people stood up for what they believe in, and that has to do with the spirit that resides in you. So that spirit speaks. Well, this spirit nowadays is suppressed.
Yeah, very much so.
And that's the problem. So we don't want a suppression of that. We need it to flow, and that's why Spirit always tells me, you either say what you need to say or get out of the energy.
I like that.
It's the truth, because if you don't say it, it resides in you. You carry it. That's what I teach in my class and all that stuff, because it does. You carry it. And you're mad. It's like, I should have said something and I didn't say it, and now I'm carrying this, and now I wish I would have said something. And that's the whole thing. You either say it, speak it, or get out of it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. There's, there have been times in my life where I knew I should have said something and I didn't because I was chicken for some reason or another.
Well, I think it's that programming that society's telling you, no, you shouldn't do that. But then there's a spirit says, roar.
Yeah. Roar. Yeah.
Say it. What are they going to do? Just say it.
Out. Yeah.
And some of us are just so used to saying it that it doesn't affect us anymore. But some of us are like, and I deal with this, that people don't understand inside of you. I mean, literally, I tell people it's good for you to scream, be able to use that solar plex and bring that energy out, because if it feels like the center of you is suppressed and you can't use that voice, like you can't really scream, that tells you right there where your spirit's at. You can't use your voice. You can't even bring those tones up to speak what you feel. And that's why in some clients, I teach them, I'm like, you need to, like you're a lion, and roar it out. And then they feel better and it flows. And that's important. And that you have to understand how that's suppressed.
That's programming, isn't it? Don't you believe?
Yes,
they programmed us to
highly,
suppress that way. And this fear of authority figures, afraid to speak up or speak your mind.
Yes.
Of course, when they have badges and guns, it's a little.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, just as off subject, I was talking to, working on a case I've been working on for 3 years. And it was really funny because I had this one person. I'll tell you the story. You're going to find this funny. Well, not really funny, but it was just unusual. I was working in a case that's been going on for like 4 years. And it's funny, when the town is full of drugs, trafficking, all kinds of narcotics and stuff like that, when crimes happen, they really suppress solving these cases because they're afraid if you pull off that first Band-Aid of crime, everything else might fall out. So you have to understand that some of these smaller towns are connected, drug related, and then if something where people investigate in these towns, I'm talking about these smaller towns out in Midwest, and then everybody tries to send propaganda your way, confuse you when you're trying to solve the case. It's amazing what they'll do to the family, and it's the whole thing of faking to be someone that knows about something and just keep you going on and on and on and on. And so, it's amazing. And I've been working on this case for a while, and this is what I told her. I said, it's obvious that the cops are involved in Mason process with this case, and they don't want anything to be investigated, because if they do, it would totally open Pandora's box. And
it's going to open.
Oh, it is. It's coming. They're all being. It's all. There's nowhere to hide anymore. There's nowhere to run. They have the information, and but to say you're protecting and serving, and you are just completely lying to society and covering up these deaths of these kids, I just, it blows my mind. And that's why I literally can't wait till they replace some of these, I'd call them old ways of police departments, and bring in the new futuristic stuff, because we need to bring it on a fair basis, and corruption needs to go. And I literally deal with it all the time. And there's too many corrupt cops across the nation. I'm just like, you can't trust them.
And they ruin people's lives in so many ways. They strip them, and it happens largely to the lower income people because they can't fight
Yeah,
back.
this is Chase Engelberg's case, and the cop that's in charge. All he does is sit on TikTok and make TikTok videos. And I tell you, he's the biggest Elmer Fudd I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it is bad. And it's a situation that's just disgusting. They're so blunt about not doing anything about it, not investigating anything, not trying to do nothing. And you give them coordinates and you give them information, and they're just dead sound. And I've had people go in the area, and they were at risk too, because they were being followed too. It's just amazing. But I cannot wait till this is all brought to the light.
Oh, same here. Same here, believe me.
I am so over the Masons.
Oh, really? And you know this with the cops, this qualified immunity has got to go, because that gives them free reign of anything. No matter what they do, they can shoot somebody in the back and get away with it. Well, you know, that was they were in fear of their life, really. Okay. And these are people, you know, I've heard that too many times. I've seen different cop stops. I've seen their egos. I've seen them, you know, I've experienced it. You saw my little clip.
Scrapping. You're a scrapper, man.
Well, I just kept telling them that what they were doing was totally unconstitutional, and they don't care. They don't even know. They haven't even been properly trained, but I don't know if they would care if they were trained. Because I also saw an article in Arizona Central, I think it was, or is called, with a police officer standing there in front of this great big, huge, big cop boy toy, I guess, that, you know, looks more like military equipment than anything else, and standing there and saying, well, we have to have, our seizures are fund our departments with with this equipment and stuff like that. So they're justifying bleeding the people of the little money that they have in order for them to have equipment they really don't need. And nor should that's not okay. That's a policy enforcer.
Yeah. Not safe. Yeah.
Anyway,
and that's the whole thing. I mean, people think these programs that are a certain point, they don't, there's no empathy, no sympathy. They do not care.
They just don't care. Yeah, it's amazing. They don't care at all. They ruin your life. Like, I'm so upset because I don't have a car. I have no transportation now.
Right.
And and they're trying to extort a significant amount of money from me and force me to go into a place where they don't have jurisdiction, but they've gotten away with it so many times that they just figure, you know, they can come with their guns and badges, arrest you, put you in jail, and there's nothing you can do. And then put a big bond on you as well. People need to get a hold of these little booklets and carry them around. I know that there was a Bundy that actually got arrested for even having one. Now that's really crazy.
That's nuts.
It's we've lost so many of our rights. I mean, you're supposed to be able to travel unencumbered, and you're not a commercial driver, so you shouldn't even use the word driver. And that's how they weaponized all these words too. It's just endless. But anyway, maybe we should move on to some of the things that you've seen.
Yeah. Well, you can start with putting some stuff up on the screen, and then I'll kind of go over it. And I have a group on my Signal, my 5D healing team. They're working on some of the downloads, looking for the history and information on this too. So, because I always believe that Spirit has a way of residing with each individual and bringing the truth in different ways. So
do you want me to start with the very first picture?
Yeah, you can look at that and I can go into it.
Okay, let me open it up that way then. Okay. Rise up. So perhaps you might explain the picture.
Okay, so with that picture, one of the one you see that's going to be a drawing is this is the finished product of it, but it's like they showed me on Jerusalem and how that the whatever you call it, the New Jerusalem or the Golden City is going to arise. It's going to rise from that area. Doesn't mean it's going to stay right there, but I'm just telling you, and they've showed me just in layers of it arising, and that, you know, especially right now, we got to be focused on looking up, looking down, paying attention to water. And they keep telling me about water in the area, water in the area. And so instead of being distracted of what's going on, that's why I kind of posted this. And then the leaves of change. So if that gives you a timeline.
Okay. Let me go to one. Oh, I made the screen bigger, but I don't know if it gets bigger for people out there. I really don't know exactly.
Well,
how
if they
that...
look at their phone and take a picture, they'll be able to see it too.
Okay, so did you see the change?
So this is actually the Holy Land.
It's sideways. I can't twist it, or I would twist it. So
well, they can read their phone, but you know, going back to telling people to go back to a way it looked from before BC, before Christ, and all that stuff, because like I said, and on that picture, it's just a different map showing there's all these pools. They're describing these pools, and I'm getting, you know, all these layers of stuff that's underneath the Holy Land instead of, you know, just accepting what they're showing you. So it's just a older map at that time. You can go on to the next picture.
Okay. Let me... There, what's this?
Okay, so that is the original drawing I did as it rises in the sky. And that's what the first picture you saw. This is just the rough draft of that crystallization and how it looks and how it arises and how the energy is and everything.
Okay.
So it's on the side, but that's the rough draft, and then adding all that.
Yeah, that one's sideways. Yeah, I wish I could. I don't know why, but for some reason I can't twist the picture around in here like you.
Right.
I don't know why, but anyway. So, what about this one?
Okay, so that one is another description I did like 2 weeks ago. Just you got it's the opposite. So you got on top of the Holy Land, and then going down and seeing the original churches, the original ruins, the original.
Now these are underground?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
So as you're looking at it, you're thinking the Holy Land underground. Now, so you're seeing, because you're seeing on the top of the page of the Holy Land, and then the stairs going down. So they're showing older churches, older buildings, older, you know, structures, and then so these pathways that go down that have been covered up. And then the lower one is like a library of information and documentation that's beneath everything, you know. So that's what they're showing me on now. And these are all visions, all downloading it and then putting it and implementing it into a process. But I've been talking about this for a while. So it's not everything that we're looking at is what it seems to be. We need to look at things in layers and levels, and the one that's coming is that I need to finish, but I'm finishing with the group. It's a garden, and it's a different type of garden.
Oh, really? So, what does your garden grow?
Gold.
Whoa, okay.
So anyway, yeah, so you can go to the next one.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, gold.
All right. Oops, that's the wrong one. No, that
is. So that is again another view of showing the Holy Land in the Golden City of rising above.
So it's rising above the city.
I did put a chair there, a red chair, And I can tell you, it's not Kim Gogan sitting in that chair. But I think pretty much everybody knows what that chair is for. And so the shepherd, the ambassador. So anyway, just this golden city arising above. But everybody thinks that's the whole thing, is they think it's going to stay in one spot and then that's going to be it. And it's like, nope, this is a new world, a new way of we're doing things that's universal and it's connected all as one. So yeah, there's nobody more special than others. So
I was looking all over around here for the chair, going, where's that chair? Where's the chair? And then I looked up.
Right in the center, the red chair.
I was looking down on the lower half instead of on the upper half where the golden city is. Okay, shall we go to the next one?
Yeah. Okay,
I don't know
if this is a book in Secrets of the Teaching.
I didn't mean to do that.
It's not what it is I'm kind of giving you an example of that garden that I'm showing, that they're having these barriers. Not that one. Go back to the other one.
Wait a minute. Where'd it go?
But in it, it's hard to see, but it looks like you can tell.
Okay, I got it. I'm going to have to go back here because it's not. Which one?
It's the very next one. It's black and white. No.
The other way?
The other way.
No. The other way. This one.
The other way.
Not this one.
Nope.
Not that one.
No, that one. So if you kind of look at that, you're going to have to do it by your cell phone, but you can read the description on it later. But the whole presence of the garden, of the way that they're showing me in my mind, this kind of matches this interpretation. And then in there, if you kind of look at this, if you read about the secrets, I think it is the Secrets of the Teachings.
The Secret Teachings of All Ages is what it says.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. And if you look that up, and you'll see another chair with somebody in it. And there's just these things that are too close to everything that I get these visions of and information. So, and there's always clues in pictures like that. There are more details. So that's a good book to go look at, because I can't read from here what.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read. I can't quite read it either.
Yeah.
And
but anyway, it gives you an idea of that garden and that barrier, and remote viewing and going down beneath it. And that's the whole thing, that they're like, they've always told me that there's more underneath the ground of that than anybody knows. And that clumping a bunch of churches together and putting it on top of a hill, that really hides everything, It's just so. The true energy in which people have told you, when you go into that area, you feel that energy from the ground, and that's what that's what I'm tuning into, and that's what I'm going to present, and that's what I've been talking about for a while. What's underneath, the pathways, the artifacts, all that stuff.
Wow,
pretty interesting.
So, should we go to the next one now?
I don't think you can read that stuff, so I think you might as well forget about that one. Go ahead, but I don't think you can. Yeah, that's going to be too hard to go into.
I can read it.
Okay, go ahead.
I can read it out loud anyway. It says, the first section says, the cabal. Everybody who you think is alive is most likely not. Hollywood, senators, congressmen, pay attention to details and behavior. Okay. Then the next one, the Masons and cops. Keep your eye on the police departments that have made a deal with Mason program. People will be stepping down or going to jail. There's a reason why cases do not get solved. They're paid not to get solved, and I know this firsthand with missing person cases. Except more drones to take over these positions for traffic cops. The human behavior cannot be trusted without surveillance anymore. In case of corruption, we have to start from a fresh slate. Programmed. Here are some harsh reality. Most of your life, you have been programmed from education institutions to churches to medical facilities. It was all to indoctrinate you. Now it's time for you to relearn the truth, start stepping outside the box and seeing things through your own eyes. Take your own path and confirm the truth. Most of what you see on Google is a program. Do your research, find the truth. Use a different search engine. We have to start at a restart point and realize that we have been fooled in every way. Your instinct is your best ally. Your gut feeling is usually right, but we are programmed to ignore it. Creator has always been residing within you. Follow the light.
Yep.
I don't know if there's more or not, or is that the
No.
last page? No. Oh, there's this little bit. What do we own now? Do not forget what Trump signed before he left office. If we catch you, your assets and your personal items will belong to the people of America. Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, they took all their money. Do you ask yourself this question, why? Isn't any of these idols or Hollywood saying anything anymore because they can't? Their money was seized overnight. Corporations, as you will no longer see you in the future. They will shut down and never return. CNN, Fox News, most of the media outlets that are present will no longer be around when the new system comes online. We will return to real journalism again in this world and give you the true information to see it for yourself.
Right.
That has just caused so much trouble for us. I think that's the last of the pictures, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's it.
Okay. Then I'll come back. But that, that whole corporate United States, the corporation, they created the all cap name was a corporation that they tried to get you to agree to be when they brought you into court. So then it sounds crazy, but it's true. And it's a little complicated because they have so many word games. It's not even funny.
True. It is just crazy.
So if anybody out there has any questions, please present them and we will put them on the screen and discuss them if you have any. People are quiet. They're kind of in a state of shock.
I think I'll kind of talk about what I see that's coming in the next week. So, when we get down to a shutdown phase of things, and this is the thing that I tell you that I think is a concern now, is it's not, all this, people need to remember, and probably because they don't understand how many people have rifles in this nation. It's impossible to count them all because there's so many. And there's a reason why our country hasn't been invaded is because of that. And they're afraid of us in that way. So I'm not worried about that process at all. So what it is, which kind of freaks out everybody, when this persona of this 3D world goes down in these people, I say weaker people, medicated people, and I mean to the point that they've overdone it, that they're going to have to help them through a detox system and also a psych evaluation to get these in normal in society again, because when this all goes down, certain mindsets cannot process this. So I think their concern now is where to keep society safe. How do we handle all these people freaking out? Okay.
Exactly.
Once you think about that is, I think, is the whole process, is how there's no way to really radar to how bad it's going to go or how many people are going to freak out and how many people are going to be able to establish it. So, but you have to keep society safe, and you're going to see that. And I think that is a barrier, and that is something they have to analyze and put together and protect. the citizens. And it's I think that is one of the concerns that we're dealing with right now before we go.
Well, I'm going to have to say something about this super patch technology, which is totally and completely drug free.
Right.
And there's some patch. It's almost like a med bed in a patch until I'm not sure when they're ever going to be released. But what's amazing about it is it's like Braille for the brain. And I mean, everybody's under a lot of stress and anxiety and stuff like that. And there's a peace patch, and it actually works. And if you don't think so, you could ask my son.
Right.
I mean, I saw it. I'm going, wow, this is drug free too.
Right.
By the way,
that's the best thing.
And that's what we need. And
Roll those
so
patches on
somebody
you.
starts. Somebody's going off. You go, here, put this patch on.
Yeah, something. But just to, you can't throw people into a situation. They're going to react, and their nerve system's not going to take it very well. Certain levels. So you have to understand how to keep those people safe in society, and then put them in a safe place, and then help them come out of that in a level basis. That's what I honestly believe.
We need real healing centers.
Yes, and that's why I tell right now that all the healers are going to be so busy after we get out through this process. That's just natural stuff. And no one's going to go near a hospital like, nope, never. You know, and so I think all the healers, and that's why it's important. Like I said, each one is put on this world at a certain time and place for a reason. And I believe that you're going to see that in the future, that why it's so important. And that's why I have a huge respect for healers, because healing, some people have just come online with their ability. They've probably had it inside them and didn't realize it. And now they're really coming online. They're really developed, and they're going to be holding the podium. And more than psychics, because psychics is going to be part of the process in the future. We're going to see that anyway. But healers, you've got to have this energy, this frequency, this vibration to do that. And those beings are going to be very important in this next process. So it's that they're very important in that process, and I think it's a rewarding position to be in. And you see, a lot of people want to be connected to these devices that are going to help people heal. So I think everybody's really starting to process and think of what they want to be in the future and how they want to contribute.
And people have, everybody's here for a reason, just like you were saying. Well, except the ones that are cyborgs or clones or what have you. Some of them are even playing a role in the movie here, which I hope. But yeah, healers are really going to be important, and there's some of these are wonderful tools. There's 6,000 technologies that have been hidden from humanity that are healing technologies. And I believe that the super patch is one of them. That man that invented that received downloads and was trying to heal his mother who had MS. And she has been healed. So it's amazing. And there's so many more. And then we haven't had a chance to see the med beds yet, but we hear lots of things about them. And some people don't even like them being called med beds.
Especially spirit. They don't like it.
I don't like it
either. Anyway.
Because medicine has a bad reputation. And
it's like a CNN thing, so it's just not a good name. So I've already tried to convince people to change it, but they still go
healing chambers. Why don't we call them healing chambers?
That too, or frequency chambers. But yeah, it's gonna
frequency healing. Well, like the Rife, that was a wonderful form. They killed that man. I believe they put him in prison. Rife, William Rife, R-I-F-E.
Yep.
Yeah. every time we had a great healer that was really could really help people, they took them out.
Yeah.
The Rockefellers, to keep medicine in their complete control, them and the pharmaceutical companies.
Yep. And
They're all
so I do think, we're gonna see these people freak out in every way, and then after that, there will be a calmness that comes after the structure kind of comes in and calms everything down, and I mean organizes everything, and then people are kind of knowing where they can get things and what they need to do, and then that whole process of the banking system and distributing centers, and I think all your information is going to be at the bank for anything that's new, futuristic. It's all because that's where everything is started, and that's where you can get your information.
I think they're going to call them wealth management systems now instead. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the original bankers were really bad guys. I mean, they've been robbing us blind for the longest time. But anyway, Karai says, Trump's greatness plan keeps being delayed because there are still so many bad guys. Will it be much longer?
I don't believe that, because from what I sense and what I know, and it's energy wise too, that I don't feel like that is the process. I just feel like it's like I said, a checkpoint. Everything has to be crossed. The I's got to be dotted and everything, and it's a balance situation. It's not a date thing. But again, we'll tell you it's going to happen at 2 a.m.
Oh, that's what you heard?
No,
or that's what Spirit told you?
That's what I know. It's always.
Oh, that's what
I know the military. We do 2 a.m. And then I told you every branch of the service is going to be standing up at a podium and telling you exactly the way it's going to be, and then short and sweet and done. They don't need anybody to advertise that. They will have everybody's attention nationally.
And they're going to provide information.
Yes.
Like the tribunals and all that.
Real information and correct information, and not, I heard this from this guy and I heard this from this guy, and if I said anything, he'd be court-martialed, and I'm just saying, it's just amazing how they think that these military men are going to jeopardize their career to give them a secret, which is bullshit. Nobody knows anything.
So I heard, and I don't know if this is true, somebody told me that they actually took out the Starlink satellites. Do you know anything about that? Is that just a lie?
I think that's a lie.
Okay. So there will be, you anticipate there will be a quantum financial system?
Yeah.
Of sorts?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever seen the GPMS.world?
No, I have not. Went in there. I barely have enough time to do what I'm doing already, but I haven't. Spirit doesn't call to me a lot to look at anything in the 3D, just honestly, because that would distract my mind. It wouldn't help the situation, but I don't know. What is it?
Well, I'm going to be having someone talk about it and explain it better on next Tuesday, I believe it is. Jewers is his name, and the site is GP Global People's Monetary System. It's where we, the people, are totally in charge.
Yeah, and it should be that way, because it's just supposed to be the quantum system in you, and then eventually the bankers will be gone too. So I believe that, just because that's what I presented and feel, and like I said, it can. It knows your ID by your vibration, your tone, your frequency, all of that, So, and that's how it's going to, if you're in stress and say like someone has a gun and they want you to give it, it's not going to dispute that money out. So it's fallible. The negative can't get into it. Just saying. You can try.
Well, good. They have been trying, from what I understand, because they've caught a number of them trying already. Some of the bankers, yeah. But
the advancement that they say that it's just so futuristic, they don't have the mindset. There's no human on this in this world that has the mindset to ever get close to even breaking it.
Well, that's a good thing.
Right.
I just thought of a question and I went right back out of my head, so I'll have to think about it. What was it? Something.
Something.
Yeah, I just can't think of what it is at the moment, but it'll come to me if I stop trying to think about it. But the change in the government to councils that's set for the future, is that going to be a long ways away, a short ways away? I mean, I know we can't.
I already think it's in play. Like I said, I think what you're seeing with the Republicans being on the forefront, and now behind them is the council. That's what I feel and pick up with that whole situation. So yeah, it's
yeah. Somebody's asking the same question: is ascension way off or fairly soon, or transition? Some people say you should call it transition and not ascension, and a lot of people refer to it as ascension. Basically, they mean the same thing, or what they're thinking of is the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is ascension, but I think 3D people, their veil of understanding is like I told everybody with a higher conscience going to be able to see through things, and then you have the 3D people, they have a lot of work to do. Just the way it is. There's a lot of work to be done to get this to a certain point of understanding.
So now, are you talking about inner work, individual inner work?
Because they're not at the acceptance state. They're not at the acceptance of the veil of understanding. So it's hard for them to get to that point. They're not there yet.
It's unfortunate that there isn't some way to break the programming, because people didn't ask to be programmed. They just got programmed.
Right.
Against their will, really.
Coming out of a coma. How do I, instead of something telling me what I need to do or how I need to think or what I need to buy or everything, I have to think on my own, process on my own, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a good thing. It's like it's going to feel like a lot of them are coming out of a coma.
Do you think the internet's going to go down?
It's rolling. It's going to be rolling in regions, rolling. So where you have a resistance, it's going to go down just so there's no communication. And then where you're not having resistance, it's going to be fine.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So they would need internet in order to do the tribunals or the that they speak of.
But I mean, internet to me is going into futuristic internet. You know what I'm saying? And I don't
a better one. I mean,
yeah. And so, I remember when we had dial-up.
Oh my God, yeah. Talk about slow. Remember when cell phones first came out too, and you were paying what, 20 cents?
Hey, we had pagers, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, wow. We've come a long way. That technology came from. That was the alien tech,
Right. Exactly. So, and that's the thing. It's just you've got to look at what's important now and where you want to put your energy and what view you want to see. Do I want to look at 3D, that same thing spinning over and over and over and over? Or do I want to look outside that and pay attention to everything that's going on around it? See, and I got to remember this, that I talked to you about this earlier, that I think it was probably at the time that the election in 2016 happened, and they said something to me. They're like, I need you to remember Putin's face, because there's something that he's going to do that everybody's going to remember. And it's not a negative thing, okay? I just want you to remember the information on that was the imprint of his face, and to remember in some way he's going to save humanity in a different type of way.
That was predicted by Edgar Casey, wasn't it?
I don't know. All I know is I had a dream and they just showed me the face. And I just remembered that like the other day, because sometimes I forget what I wrote down and what, but I remember they told me that. And I think at the time they told me that about 2016, then I started doing up research on him and all that stuff. So they didn't give me the details of at that moment. And sometimes things are not revealed for a certain reason, but we're going to know when it happens. We'll see.
I do think, yeah, I remember it's Edgar Casey or someone like him from a while ago who basically Russia saves the world, and that's probably Putin.
I
Whatever he does.
couldn't tell you. All I know is what I got.
Mm-hmm.
I just got the image of the face.
But what did they say about the face?
That's an impression you're going to have, that you're going to remember, and that it could have gone a completely devastating way. But this is the soul, whether who he is or who's in him, has at that moment of time to make that decision. So, and at first everybody goes to nuclear war, and I'm like, I don't think it's that at all. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it was a very interesting situation.
What about there was talk for a while, it was totally discounted as being a possibility. Now they're bringing it back up again. I don't know if it's a fear factor or what, but that is the pole shift.
Another thing they've never brought up to me. So the flash, people bring that up, and I'm like, they don't say anything about that. They don't say anything about the pole shift either. I think if you look at it in a, what is the pole shift? What would it supposed to do?
It would kill everybody, just about.
Yeah. And it's another fear process. That's why it doesn't reside with me. And they would have said, hey, because usually when I get something like that, they're like, draw this, write this, and, and that's the thing. And I haven't seen anything like that or heard anything like that.
That's good.
So,
that's very good.
Far.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get a heads up if that changes. But I know the magnetosphere was moving more than it was supposed to. But I was under the impression that it's being controlled, so that doesn't happen. So, but right. You hear so many things, and you don't, I don't feel that that's going to happen at all. But that's just me. And I would think Spirit would have said something to you by now.
Mm-hmm. Well, they pick what the subjects are, and some of them I don't want to do. So, but here we are. So yeah, I mean, I'm not in a panic of feeling, claustrophobic or something tragic. I think it's just a layer of a process getting through, a layer of another process, a layer of new things being implemented, new technology, seeing new advanced everything, travel, everything. So we have to get our mindset around that to get comfortable with it. Yeah.
So what do you think is the most important thing that people can do to make things move forward in a positive way?
I think really detaching yourself from this reality. You have submitted to attaching yourself. It's time to, attach yourself back and go, you know what? I'm deciding that that's not for me. And I'm going to now think on my own, process on my own, and come to my own conclusions of what I need.
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting.
And the frequency of the planet is rising, correct?
Yes. And we'll keep rising.
And that's why we keep seeing more and more truth actually coming out.
Right. It's like you can't stop what's going to happen. There's just nobody. You can wish upon many ways, but it's not going to happen.
So, all right. Is there anything else that you want to bring out? That
No, I mean, the thing I wanted to, until I get everything done, and then the thing is, I'm not focusing on market. All of it has to happen. It's not something whether it's going to. I think it's all collaged together. But look at this time as a break from unplugging completely that dissolving 3D world, and then you wake up and you don't have the debt, and your mindset of not having those worries in the same way changes this world's conscience, because that worry feeds the negative.
The vibration of people, I'm sure, would go up substantially with financial relief. Just that alone. Because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because worry and stress pulls that down. And then when you have oh my gosh, I don't have to worry about that. Your energy just really takes a breath. And then you start to reflect around you and figure, okay, I have everything I need. What can I do for everybody else?
That's can I help? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And that's why you see so many people when there's tragic situation, tragic storms, and you see a neighbor helping neighbor, because they look at themselves like, I have it better than them, so I'm okay. I'm going to move to the next person and try to help them. That's the only time we get to that point. And it needs to be more, but it's just something important that we have to look at and pay attention to.
I think one part of what we're dealing with is, I saw this one film that says, the guy says, well, we have to teach you how to be free again because you forgot. And,
you know what I would tell you, the kids in the 80s and trust me, we know how. Trust me, the stuff that we did and what we got away with and how much risk we took, that generation you don't have to worry about. Like I said, the menopausal women right now, they're on fire. They are on fire. They were raised a strong way and doing it on your own, and no one's going to pick you up. You got to figure it out on your own. I'm telling you, that generation I'm not worried about. This is the younger ones.
Yeah. Well, part of it, what I was going to get at is that it's kind of like when you have an animal fenced in, and we've been fenced in, and all of a sudden you take the fence down. They stay within the confines of the area for a while.
Yeah.
Because they still don't sense that they're free. Right. So that, we'll be dealing with some of that. But people got to put the brave on too. And right. They'll do that by, connecting with the divine within.
Right.
Let's hear it from Generation X.
Yes. Yeah, that's a strong generation, and we took risk, and we didn't care if we got our ass beat. You're like, we're doing it. We just
you're giving yourself away now, Jenny.
That's right. So, and that's the thing is, like I said, that generation I'm not worried about. Those men of that generation I'm not worried about. It's anything below that is where you're going to have to look at it a different way. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. So we're moving forward. Things are moving right along. And I think a lot's going to happen before the end of the year. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And yes, it's going to be good things, right?
Right. So positive things. And, I think the hardest part you're going to hit is the inner cities, because all the thing that's been ran by another society, they have to rebuild that. That's what they showed.
Well, the living conditions and so much needs to change. So it's so good that this is all coming down and we can have something much better
Right.
forward, moving forward. So
exactly, and then I'm been booking Humble Healing 3, which is doing great. Everybody loves it. So that's part of my healing mechanism. It's people, and then I'm taking some.
Oh, you're doing another book or a class?
No, Humble Healing 3, not the book.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's a actually healing process, and I'm booking them because I've been waiting for 3 years to get this downloaded, and I've had good feedback on it. And then just the normal classes, I'm still doing the one-on-one stuff like that. So we're still going forward on things and going in that direction, because healing and insightful stuff and knowing your intuition it's important in the future, because that's what you're going to rely on. Because I tell you, you're gonna have that kid that you see in the 1950s, where his hands are crossed like this, and like, I don't believe anybody, that you're like, I'm gonna, trust myself, and until I see it for myself, you're gonna go through that stage for a while. So we all need to listen to our intuition and our gut. That's what they were stopping, and now we're going back to that. And
was that a frequency block?
No, I think it was, we gave control. We didn't watch. We occupied our mind. And we trusted. We thought, and we were taught the government, they're taking care of you. They care about you. They do. Guess what?
They could care less.
Wanted to rob you.
Yes. Not only did they want to rob you, but that they wanted to, what was it, 209 nations? They're coming together now, but they all agreed to do, this in order to depopulate.
Right.
And that's a whole nother thing that hopefully people have woken up to it, because they're going to try to give it another round. It's not going to fly. I don't think.
Exactly.
But I do see I still see people wearing, masks, and I still see people signing up for something that could shorten their life substantially. Yeah. But that's all going to come to an end too.
Okay, hon. I think that was enough information for everybody to access.
Hang on a second. Let me. Okay. Well, unless you have something else to say, I guess we pretty much have covered everything we need to cover for this particular.
No, they pretty much know how to get a hold of me. Patreon, my website, Signal.
Yeah, your website, they can get everything there. They can schedule your classes. They can do get a reading, whatever they want. So that's good, and that is in the description, people, for you to look at. And I also included in the description more information in a video that I just did with Dr. Susan on these SuperPatches, which are totally drug-free and absolutely amazing. I'm amazed by them and I love the idea that they're drug-free. We got a few doctors that are using them with children with ADD and ADHD, and I'm hoping to find out more information about that instead of those horrific drugs that they have been giving them. That changes everything about them in not such a good way. So anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being here. We will be doing this on either every other
our
week.
Next day is, we already planned that when we talked, because we had more requests.
Got the date already.
We got the date already.
November 9th, wasn't it? I wrote it down, so I got it. But let me look.
It is Friday the 10th.
Oh, the 10th. Oh,
that's
day. Okay. Friday. Oh, yeah, we're going to stick to Fridays probably too, unless for some reason we can't. That way.
I just think as things roll out, like I said, the downloads have been nuts and crazy. I'm not sleeping that much. And so as things get more intense, that's why, when I have a lot of stuff coming in, then I'll just present it, and then the Patreon has all the prediction stuff, but yeah, I mean, we'll push some more of that information out and see how it lies and how it follows the truth.
Right. And if we have to have a special meeting that's not on Friday, or that because of what's going on or whatever, that could happen as well too. So we'll do the best to keep people as informed as we can.
Yeah, I think it's going to get pretty crazy once that happens. And then once the internet goes back on, when it's permanent, oh my gosh, it's just going to be like, I think at that point I'm going to be like, whoa. So, yeah. So new world, new things, new development, new programs.
It's going to be exciting. People should be excited.
Exactly.
Let crumble, detach from it, and start thinking, focus on the new world. That's what will happen, when you start thinking of beautiful things and new and a better life and things. And that's important. So,
okay.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you again soon.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors.